Hey, it was good with y'all, man. This video is really fucking hard to do because this man is my second favorite character in the motherfucking series, and I don't want to do it, but y'all know I'm a realist. You know, everything I say on this channel, I stand behind, right or wrong. You know, but I'm open to corrections. You know, I'm not too big to be corrected. So if I say something, you be like, nah, you know, we're more like, alright, cool, bet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too big on that. I mean, I'm not bigger than that. But we gonna touch on Gohan. What I'm gonna touch on how he is. Basically, my whole perception of him as an entire character in the whole series. I'm gonna touch on all that from A to Z. Now I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I'm gonna try to condense it around the same time as the Goku rant. But yeah, like when Gohan first came into the picture, he was a timid young boy, and he got kidnapped by Raditz. And Goku and Piccolo, they teamed up to stop this new threat, but they weren't strong enough to even contend against this new Saiyan threat. So Gohan showed his hidden power and headbutted the hell out of a space pirate. He did more damage than Goku and Piccolo did combined in just one attack. Even though it was a burst, it was very impressive and it foreshadowed his potential. Because he saw the potential, Piccolo took him under his wing. And when Piccolo did that, he had no idea that he would gain a friend. Gohan softened basically the devil incarnate's heart. When the other Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa, showed up, they approached Piccolo and Gohan first because they had the highest power levels that they could sense on their scouters. Now Gohan, he was still kind of timid, you know, he fucked up in this whole fight. Like, he really wasn't about nothing until Piccolo died. Or, yeah, he wasn't really about nothing until Piccolo died. And, you know, everybody gave him kind of flack, you know what I'm saying? Like, tried to downplay him in this saga. But y'all gotta remember, this little boy was like 5 or 6 on the battlefield. So for him to even be there, it was a miracle. So I don't hold that against Gohan freezing up as young as he is, you know. So, you know, to revive his friends, well, basically to revive Piccolo, that was his goal. He goes dynamic and he shows bravery by knocking away Dodoria, who was about to kill Dende, who will later become the Earth's guardian. You know, he showed bravery against the Ginyu Force, being the last man standing before he got his neck broke by Raccoon. You know, he showed his ass against Frieza, you know, twice. You know, the first time, everybody remember that little scrimmage he had against Frieza's second form. He went ham on that man, to the point where Frieza rose his power up even more. And then, you know, he did what he did to Gohan. But you know, like, he was the main factor that pushed Frieza to his final form with that giant Masenko. Now, people, I know I'm not oblivious to the fact that Frieza's third form was more than enough to wipe out Vegeta, Krillin, and Piccolo with a breath. But because he didn't want to take any chances, because Gohan was showing so much power that he just couldn't believe, he went to his final form. And that is when Gohan pretty much outlived his usefulness. You know, he had a little scene where after he gave majority of his energy to Piccolo to help out, you know, Goku, who was trying to form the spirit bomb, he shot, you know, a beam with Krillin to kind of hold off Frieza before the spirit bomb was finished. And after that, that was pretty much all his shine. Everything else was filler. Yes, him coming back to fight Frieza final form was filler. He didn't fight Frieza's final form by himself, so I'm not going to count that. Now, fast forward into the Android saga. or leading into the Android saga. Gohan showed even more bravery when Frieza came back, because he immediately suited up and went to where he thought Frieza would land without hesitation. You know, he knew he wouldn't stand a chance, but he did it anyway. He showed Goku's trait, hey, I gotta be out here to defend the Earth. I know I might get killed, but it's whatever. So after Frieza got sliced and diced, he trained for 3 years with Piccolo. Now we don't know the extent of the training that, you know, Gohan underwent. We don't know how brutal it was or whatever. We know Piccolo is brutal, but we know that Goku kind of takes it easy on Gohan, as he states later on. Now, after the 3-year training, he is immediately on the battlefield for 19 and 20. But because Bulma showed up and Yajirobe in that plane that got shot down by Dr. Shiro, he left the battlefield to take them back to safety. So he was excluded from the 17 and 18 threat. Now following the pursuit of Cell, who they didn't really know much about, and then Goku getting well again from his heart virus, he went to the hyperbolic time chamber and trained with his dad to learn Super Saiyan. Now, you know, I'm not going to argue with people to be like, you know, he went through emotional distress to reach the form, because in the anime they showed that, but looking at the manga, he just kind of appeared with it. So I'm kind of indifferent with it. You know, in the past, you know, I gave him that leeway, but, you know, refreshing my mind with the manga, I see that he just kind of showed up as a Super Saiyan. So we just going by strictly the manga. He didn't really have, or they didn't show emotional distress. He kind of just trained and mastered Super Saiyan with his dad. Now, he was oblivious to the fact that he was more powerful than Goku. He was always thinking Goku was holding back, and for good reason. Goku was the first Super Saiyan. Goku showed him how to go Super Saiyan. So why would you think that you surpass your teacher, especially at that young age? So he watches Goku and Cell fight, and he has like a look on his face where he just feels like his dad is holding back. And then when his dad gives up, he had like a puzzled look, like, huh, that's it? You really gonna give up? And then when Goku called his name down there, he started shaking, because you gotta remember, he's 11. You know, even though he might be more powerful than everybody, he's only 11. But he still rose to the occasion. He didn't rise to the occasion right away. It was pretty much, I'll be honest, the fight initially between Gohan and Cell was basically Gohan dodging and getting overwhelmed by Cell, to the point where Cell got bored with him and unleashed the Cell Juniors. Now, when he went Super Saiyan 2, it was a very, very perfect scene, like very well orchestrated scene in the Japanese version. You know, I like the English dub as well, but that song in the Japanese version was just so, it fit that scene so fucking well. And to this day, man, I watch the Japanese version more than the English dub. That's just me. But overall, I would prefer the English dub over like pretty much every other scene. But when he first went Super Saiyan 2, and everybody jaw drop, Vegeta, Trunks, Goku was like, hey, I told you so. Piccolo was looking horrified. Trunks was like, wow. Tien, Yamcha, everybody, Cell Jr. stopped. Cell was looking scared, shocked. It was a very, 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 very awesome scene. Very awesome scene. But the way that he dismantled the Cell Juniors with that poker face, I was like, yes. Kill them niggas, Gohan. Kill them niggas. So he dismantled them all really easily. I remember the very first Cell Jr. leaped at him to test his power. He decapitated that man in one blow. I was like, wow. When I first saw it, my eyes was just glued on the screen when I first saw it. I was like, yo. And at this point, he was already like, well, my favorite character. He became my favorite character in the Frieza saga. He was my favorite character. But after he dismantled the Cell Juniors, he started embarrassing Cell to the point where Cell started getting pissed. So then Cell powers up to his max power in his perfect form, and tries to attack Gohan, and Gohan just kind of shrugs it off. He pulls out every attack in the book, and Gohan deflects it. He tries to destroy the Earth, and Gohan deflects it. It was just one of the most. This fight right here really made. If you didn't see Dragon Ball Z before this, it really made you realize how dynamic the fights are when it's just one-sided. Like, they did it perfectly right. Cell pulling out all the stocks at his max power, and Gohan just like, whatever. So, he gets arrogant. He's only 11. He's the most powerful person in the world. He gets arrogant. He's like, what can Cell do to me? So he lets his guard down after Cell goes back to his second form. He lets his guard down. Cell tries to self-destruct. Goku teleports away. Gohan blames himself. Cell comes back, kills Trunks, and then Vegeta does what he does, and then Gohan ends up injured. Now we at a point where Gohan's giving up or whatever. He doesn't feel like he has the power. He's doubting himself. He's injured. He basically can't use half of his body. Granted, he can stand. I'm talking about like I think it was his left arm that was just really messed up. So he's like, it's game over. I can't do nothing. So through like the coaching, of his dad in the other world, and his dad reassuring that, I passed, but I'm really proud of you for ascending me and actually having the power to defend the world. You just gotta believe in yourself. He tapped into his power, and he became the protector of the world. And it was a very epic climax of the series right there. Now, when this happened, I, as well as other fans, we pretty much took Gohan as a new Goku. Whenever a new threat was going to pop up, Gohan was going to be ready. But you know what happened? This is when Akira Toriyama took a shit, eternal shit, on the character known as Gohan. The Buu Saga came, this nigga Gohan didn't even do 10 push-ups the whole 7 years. I don't understand that. You know that your dad was the main protector of Earth. He defeated the Emperor of the universe. The androids were pretty much after him. They were created to destroy him. They surpassed the power of Super Saiyan. You had to train, go through all this anguish to ascend to a new level. Nobody ever reached it. Vegeta didn't reach it. Your father didn't reach it. Trunks couldn't reach it. And you gonna slack off? Really, Gohan? You gonna slack off and just... And this is the thing too, man. Like, I understand, like, alright, you got a mom that really wants you to study and pursue, like, being a scholar or whatever. But come on, man. Like, everyday life, man, everybody can, like, multitask, and you got a hyperbolic time chamber right there that got retcons, so you can, like, go in there for pretty much an hour. I ain't gonna say the exact time what natural hour in the real world is compared to the hyperbolic time chamber, but let's say give or take about a month of training for an hour. You know what I'm saying? You can't even do that, Gohan. Straight. So 7 years pass, and he become like the biggest nerd in the world. He ain't got his fighting sense no more. He can only really defeat humans in his base form. He create a whole persona, the Great Saiyaman. And while I don't have a problem with the Great Saiyaman per se, I find it very humorous. It's like, man, come on, man, come on. So the world tournament comes, and Supreme Kai has enough power to hold this nigga back, but this nigga weaker than a Super Saiyan 2. And I say he weaker than Super Saiyan 2 because he was shocked by Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Like, he was shook. Like, he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do type shit. So the fact that this nigga can hold you back, it's like, come on, man, come on. And then the whole thing with the boar in the space pod, man. Like, I was getting mad with Vegeta. It's like, nigga, you supposed to be way more powerful than me, and you over here struggling against a nigga that you could have beat when you was a kid. What is you doing? What was you doing? So I'm like, I felt Vegeta when he said that, man. I felt that lecture when he gave him that lecture in the spaceship. You know, like he gave him a real lecture. Because if he hadn't slacked, Piccolo and Krillin wouldn't have been turned to stone. The boar would have been out of here. Like from our bell. Majin Buu would have never even came to fruition. If Gohan didn't slack on his training. I blame Gohan. Straight up. I don't blame Goku. I don't blame Vegeta. I blame Gohan. So he failed to defeat the Bora, and then Majin Buu, he gets resurrected or whatever, and he has like a little moment before then where he trying to power up and Kamehameha, and that shit don't even do shit. Majin Buu get resurrected and wreck Gohan completely to the point in one blast, to the point where everybody think this nigga dead. That's right, he got murked to the point where everybody think he dead. Supreme Kai, you know, he sensed that Gohan's still alive because he's a Kai, which is pretty much in Dragon Ball Z, you know, the god of all gods. He goes over to Gohan. He's like, I see your potential. We gonna free the Z Sword. Gohan, I gotta give Gohan credit. He freed the Z Sword, and in turn, you know, he get a little bit more stronger. I ain't gonna say he on Goku level. That nigga was so weak. I ain't gonna say that. Hey, I'll probably put him at Cell Games level. So he back to like Cell Games level. And you know, he ended up freeing the Elder Kai, and the Elder Kai, you know, pretty much enhances his power through like an ass pool. And what does Gohan do with the ass pool? What does he do with it? This nigga, he go to Super Buu. He toy with Super Buu. He toys with the nigga. Now keep in mind, Tien already made it clear that he killed Chi-Chi and everybody else. He ate them. Why are you toying with this nigga? Why? Even Tien Gohan wouldn't have had that shit. Granted, Tien Gohan, you know, he did his thing or whatever. This nigga older, man. I ain't trying to borrow them excuses. This nigga 7 years older. He's supposed to be more mature. I ain't buying that shit. So, you know, he let Majin Buu escape or whatever. Majin Buu come back or whatever. And then instead of Gohan taking initiative, you know, he basically allowed, you know, a 7 and an 8-year-old to take command and be like, nah, we gonna fight him, Gohan. You sit your ass back. So Gohan gonna sit his ass back and then play into the enemy hand. Super Buu absorbed Gotenks and his mentor Piccolo. You know how he repays Gohan? He repays Gohan by mocking him, by diving into Piccolo, and he repays them by diving into Goten and Piccolo's memories and letting them know that, hey, you know, I know what they remember. Goten is wondering why you let this happen. Piccolo is saying you was way too smart for this. I taught you better. Playing with his mind. Because that's what they really thought. Like, how could you let this happen? You got all this power. Like, we looked up to you. We had so much respect for you. What the fuck? So they fight. Gohan get his ass beat. Goku come back to save Gohan yet again. And Goku wanna fuse with his son, and he missed the Patera era. And granted, you know, I never really got why people rag on Gohan for this, because Goku threw that shit like 10 yards over that motherfucker head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get how he could have caught that shit. But granted, you know, everybody shit on Gohan for that. That's a meme now, but I don't get that shit, honestly. So he get absorbed. And besides him, you know, dying or whatever to Kid Buu's giant massive ball of energy, and fucking sending energy to the spirit mind for Goku. His usefulness is pretty much up. That's the end of Z Gohan. He pretty much failed being the successor to Goku. Failed miserably. Failed. So, you know, like every Gohan fan, man, we pretty much didn't expect much, man. They got it in Gohan's head that he can't multitask. You know, he can't train and study at the same time for some reason, even though the normal human does it effortlessly. But I mean, it is what it is. So we go to Super, and like in the Beerus arc, he's still Mystic, but he gets handled by Beerus like easily. Embarrassing, you know what I'm saying? But since Beerus is a god of destruction and he got God Ki, which mattered back then, you know, I kind of excuse that. But then, you know, y'all gotta help me in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? I think in my head, I really think that it was probably maybe a year, give or take, before Frieza came back. You know, after Beerus first appeared. But it might have been a few months, but y'all helped me with that. But nevertheless, he lost like his mystic powers completely because he slacked off yet again. What does it take for Gohan to be serious? What? He slacked off the first time after Cell, Majin Buu came back and destroyed the Earth. He slacked off again, Beerus the Destroyer came and nearly destroyed the Earth. Then he slacks off again and Frieza comes back. And then he get one-shotted by Frieza's first form? Come on, bruh. And then he's struggling against Frieza's henchmen? Come on, man. Come on. They ain't doing my nigga Gohan like this. But they did do him like that. You know, so I mean, it is what it is, man. So, you know, past that saga, man, because he ain't had much action besides getting, you know, laid on his back like fucking Sydney Star. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't getting no action. So past that saga, like, I remember in Universe 6, Universe 7, Vegeta was actually like, why don't we recruit Gohan? Gohan has the most potential of everybody. And Goku was like, nah, Gohan's slacking. He's still studying. It's like, really, Gohan? You really go keep slacking? What does it take for this nigga to train? What does it fucking take? I digress. So, Goku Black comes, and then Trunks comes back, and Gohan is so naive. It's like future Trunks came back. The first time he came back, his universe, not his universe, the Earth was in peril in the future, right? Gohan is oblivious. He's like, oh man, Trunks is coming back to visit. This is awesome. I'm like, Gohan, your ass dumb as the box of rocks, bruh. You really think Trunks is gonna travel 20 years back in time to say hello? Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. So it takes him finally learning that Trunks came back because it's like a evil Goku in the future terrorizing and this shit. Now he want to get serious. Now he want to train. So fast forward past after Goku Black, Zamusu, whatever you fucking want to call him, get beat. That's when Gohan try to train or whatever, and they gave this nigga the ass pull of the century. This nigga went from barely being able to curl 2 pounds in each arm to being able to go head up with God Goku in his base form. Now, I'm not saying God Goku like he's Super Saiyan God Red. I'm talking about his base form. And we all know that Goku absorbed God Ki into his base form. But like I said, man, God Ki don't mean shit. I'm just stating what mattered at the time. You feel me? So he doing all this extra shit or whatever. He finally trained with Piccolo again. This nigga Piccolo choked this nigga out in Super Saiyan 2. This nigga choke him out, period. Like, can't stand a chance against Piccolo. Nigga finally go Mystic. That's when he started getting serious. You know, I'm like, alright, yeah, bet. Gohan back. So fast forward to the exhibition match. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Gohan in this match. In fact, I was literally jumping out my seat saying he's back. I love this shit. He's back. He handled that wolf like a motherfucking G. Not only was he poisoned and threatening, his life by the poison, he still clutched the win. I say he clutched the win because the wolf was shown to basically pass out before him. But I think they called it like a draw or some gay ass shit. So it's whatever, man. Goku named Gohan the leader of Universe 7 for like a random ass motherfucking reason. I would have put Vegeta as the leader of Universe 7, but I digress. It's whatever. Gohan's the leader of Universe 7, and he devised a strategy. He actually devised a really good strategy. He say, hey, we all need to stick together. Like, we ain't gonna be fighting one-on-one. We just need that fight. If one person come out, 2 people go after them. If 2 people come out, 3 people go after them. We all stick together. We all make sure we in our eyesight. It was a good plan. Obviously, in my last rant, I show why it failed. But it was a good plan. But he actually he stuck with the plan, and I ain't got nothing bad to say about that. But like when he fought against, I think it was Universe 11's Last Warrior, and it was actually a pretty good fight. I actually liked the animation. I actually liked how Gohan carried himself in that. And when all was said and done, the locket fell, and Gohan saw pretty much, that man and his wife and his kid, and like he felt, you could feel like the guilt, in Gohan's eyes, and basically how he felt. So I really understood, like, wow, what I'm saying? Like, it was a really good scene, like one of the only scenes in the tournament I really appreciated. So I was just like, yeah, Gohan about to fight for real. But you know what Gohan did? Not fight for real. This nigga, man, he will fight full power, man. Which I don't understand, because, correct me in the comment section, Mystic, Ultimate, whatever you want to call, it don't really consume that much stamina. We talking to a man that mastered Super Saiyan 1. You know what I'm saying? And this probably consumes less stamina than that. So why the fuck can he max power? It makes no sense. But I digress, man. Like, he about to get wrung out by a fucking yard draft. Frieza gotta step in and save him and scold him and school him. Like, why ain't you even turn to Super Saiyan? You can easily beat him. And Gohan just kind of standing there looking like he helpless and shit. Made me sick to my stomach, honestly. So Gohan didn't get much shine or whatever, besides getting thrown around by fighter characters, running from him and shit. And he go against the Universe, Universe 6 Namekians, and he did his thing. I actually praised him too. Check out my review. I praised him. I swear I praised him, because I feel like he was back to form. I feel like he was back to how he was supposed to be. He did what he had to do. He played his part in getting them wrung out. He played his part in another universe getting wrung out. So I ain't got no complaints on that. But like the following episodes, he does his thing, but it's just like, you ever feel like, man, like it's just too late? Like you really feel like he should have been doing this shit. I just don't get. This is why I always say that Gohan is the most disappointing character in Dragon Ball Z, because when you think about it, he's supposed to be the son of the main character. He's supposed to be the successor of the greatest Earth protector, but he always slacked off when it mattered. I don't really count the tournament of power, because Goku right there with infinite stamina, and Vegeta right there, Android 17 right there, Frieza right there, even though it's obvious he gonna betray them at the last minute to try to like get his life back or whatever. But it's like, man, like, you should have been on this shit, man. I feel like Gohan should have been way more powerful than he is now. Because, I feel like, his ultimate form, when he first went ultimate form in the Buu saga, I feel like that was his power that he would have had if he would have kept training. I really do, in my heart of hearts. Because if you really think about it, he outclassed Super Perfect Cell, injured. Even though Super Perfect Cell was about to overwhelm him or whatever, but he still killed that nigga. So we can't really go and say he's so much weaker than Super Perfect Cell, because he still killed that nigga. He still overwhelmed him. So, and he was so much more powerful than Vegeta, Goku, and all them. And they pushed their bodies to the limits at that time. So like, if we factor in like 7 years of training, like if he would have kept training at the same intensity that he would have trained with his dad, I really don't see how he couldn't have been like in ultimate form when, you know, everybody would have been like Majin Buu about to be released. He been like, oh really, nigga? Majin Buu, alright, bring him on. You know what I'm saying? The boy would have came, he would have got fucked up, and that would have been it. You know what I'm saying? Because he would have been more powerful than Super Saiyan 3, and everybody would have been like, wow, you really kept up. But you know what Gohan did? Absolutely nothing. So that's why, man, like, I always had love for Gohan. I always had love for Gohan simply because he's my original favorite character. And I don't turn my back on favorite characters just because the writer continues to botch them. I don't know why he did it. Some people be like, because they didn't want him to be the new character. So like fans was complaining to Akira when he was writing the story, or maybe Akira just didn't see Gohan being the main character. Whatever the case may be, man, they took a giant shit on this character. It's like, what is the point of Gohan? Because they built him up from the beginning of Z to be the successor to Goku, and he didn't live up to that. So what's the point? Why? I can look at Goten and be like, alright, yeah, I bet, whatever, because he doesn't even look like it. He doesn't even act like a fighter. He doesn't care. He just want to play with animals and shit, be in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of see that. You know what I'm saying? But, and you know, people be like, well, you didn't touch on GT because GT Gohan was just there. What did GT Gohan do? What did he do? Gave fucking Goku his energy against Baby, got fucking held up against General Rildo, refused to fuse with Oob again, you know, when Oob wanted to fight against Omega Shenron. What did he do? Nothing. So fuck GT Gohan, you know, fuck NZ Gohan. The only Gohan I really am a huge fan of is the Saiyan through Cell games. That Gohan is the shit. You know, when he came back as Mystic, I had high hopes, but he botched it within 2 episodes. So it was like, man, Kira need his ass whooped, man. Why did he even make Gohan have his hidden powers if he just gonna botch it? Why? I really want to know why. But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest, man. I had to. You know, now y'all can expect me to break down these other motherfucking characters, but Gohan is literally the biggest disappointment. Past Tien, past Piccolo, all them niggas, cause they lived up to the expectation in the time that they, you know, had screen time. Even Tien or whatever, because he didn't really have fans like that. I fuck with Tien or whatever, but he didn't really have fans like that. Piccolo, he did what he had to do the time that he was allowed screen time. But Gohan, he had a lot to live up to, and he failed miserably. He should be the strongest nigga. He should be the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z. Period. They gave this nigga so many motherfucking changes, so many ass pull power ups. They unlocked this nigga potential twice, y'all. And he still chose to study over using. I'm done talking with this shit, man. Black Enigma out here. I'm done, man. This is making me mad. Straight the fuck up.